Hello and welcome to the Every Other Saturday podcast for a brand new episode this week where Rangers have started competitive action. We've got a first victory over Panathinaikos in the first leg. The second leg awaits for that one, which is going to be interesting to see how we fare over in Greece. And again, it's always transfer window time, so there's a lot of rumours flying about. A couple of players have now left the club, which is good for the size of the squad. I don't know if anybody's seen that the programme for the game on Saturday against Middlesbrough. We've just got so many players that they can't even fit it on the back of the programme. So it's getting quite an issue where we need to get rid of players quick. So there's a couple that have been linked to join, a couple that have still been linked to leave the club. So we'll talk about them as well. But the main focus, of course, is going to be that Panathinaikos game, which is the biggest talking point of the week. So if you do enjoy, if you could like, subscribe and share, and that's always very much appreciated. Firstly, we'll briefly just touch on last week because we obviously got this fixture already. The first full house at Ibrox this season, there was a lot of optimism going into this game. I think there was a lot of kind of uncertainty as well. What's Russell Martin going to do? What players does he fancy? How are we going to set up? First game being a European one as well is not exactly a comfortable situation. So I think we got through the game pretty well. I think in the first half we had to weather quite a lot. We within the first 10-15 minutes of the game, I thought we were good, we were comfortable, we were trying to force attacks and put Panathinaikos under pressure. But a couple of moments where Panathinaikos get into the game, good chances, they hit the post, good save for Butland, and they were kind of on the front foot going into half time, and you kind of feared for the worst in the second half, thinking, right, we're playing a good team here, we need to regroup, we need to go again, and thankfully we got the two goals in the end, and it was quite comfortable. In the end, it could have been a bit more with a red card, Finlay Curtis and Deji Kazama providing two moments of magic to get the victory. But I think on the whole, we saw exactly what Russell Martin's at least trying to do here.
Oh, definitely, mate. Obviously, as you say, the game sort of it's a turning point really with the Butland save because it could have went one way. We could have been in for a long night, but thankfully we weren't. The second half was a lot much improved, much better. I didn't think they really looked anything special, as I say. Obviously the boys on the screen there played for Man United. I thought he looked all right at the bits anyway. Again, I'm looking at John Suter and I'm just saying to myself, he's just no Rangers player. He's just no good enough. Takes forever on the ball. Too easy. It's just too easy. And I say two brilliant moments. Obviously a debut and then Finlay Curtis as well, young lad getting the goal. It's what we like to see. And as you say, get a real second half, I would say, a real indication of what we're going to be seeing.
Nah, I think definitely the second half shown is what Russell Martin's going for. There was nice patterns in the first half at times, but just too many slack passes, too many wandering into the unknowns of the pitch, and it was just a bit of a struggle in the first half. But if we briefly just go through the team that he selected, this was probably going to be what it's more like throughout the season. 4-3-3. Jack Butland in goals, as you say, had a tough time last season. Not a great season for himself. He's still here. He's still the number one, and he's still the number one in Russell Martin's eyes. So he started, and as you say, he kept us in the game at times. Made a
He
lot of
kept
good saves.
a lot of good saves, mate. As I say, he made some big saves. And as you say, he had obviously the end of last season, whatever you just felt like he was going, that was it. But obviously it's an area we're still trying to recruit in, you feel like, but we're just not getting MD. And it looks like Butland's going to have to be the number one until we get somebody in. So massive moments, as I say. If that goal goes in early on in the game, could have been in for a long night, you never know. But as I say, big saves again.
Nah, I thought he'd done well. Tavernier, bit of a different role for him, as you've seen moving into the middle of the pitch rather than try to be wide all the time. I think it does definitely suit his game now, where he is at and his age, to be that kind of player. You still see the quality Tavernier brings to the team. You just hope that he's had a good pre-season. He's been able to get last season kind of out of his system because it was a lot of kind of subpar games for Tavernier. And it looks like he's still going to be the captain going into this season. Looks like he's still going to be the leader that Russell Martin wants in the pitch. So if it is to be one last season for James Tavernier, let's just make it a successful one.
That's it. That's it. Wasn't it was a different role for him, obviously. As you say, I would have preferred to have played him maybe centre half, but obviously coming in the middle and being that extra pass and whatever you seem to work. And as you say, let's just hope it's a season where he goes out in a high here
Hmm.
instead of obviously where it's been the last couple of years for him. But aye, decent enough, wasn't he?
Aye, and then the two centre halves. Giga, of course, making his full debut. I think I liked what I saw for Nasser Giga on the whole. Had a couple of moments where it was maybe a bit ropey, giving the ball away. But I think that's the way this team is going to want to play. We're going to have moments like that all the time. I think something big about him is the way he can recover for these situations where he's got so much pace, so much power to outmuscle attackers, and I think he'll be key this season. I think even in one game, and then obviously the Middlesbrough game at the weekend, I think he looked pretty assured with anybody next to him. I think John Souttar, for me and you watching the game, was where the alarm bells kind of started ringing. For me, probably different to you, I think John Souttar is fine to be an option, but not as a starter.
No, I just know a start. I just I can't go home, mate. Just cannot go home. Takes forever on the ball. You know what I mean? He's
You did
just
definitely notice that this game, aye.
you know what I mean, takes forever. Then when he loses possession, he doesn't really bother his ass to track back. Really, he's just a wee light jog back. Um, and I just, as I say, I've said enough on sort of since he's been here. Really, I just don't think he's good enough to play for Rangers at all. And I mean, if there's teams after him, I'm telling you, let him go and be with his pals, Lundstrom and that. Just send him away
Aye.
to Turkey. He's just not good enough to be a starter. The other boy, as you say, a couple of mistakes in him, but as you said there, it's going to be the way we're playing it. Everyone's going to make mistakes now and then. But he looks solid, mate. Big unit, a
Mhm.
boy. And I liked what I seen as well. Just as I say, need to get somebody in next to him that's going to be the exact same as him. Because
Yeah.
John's, as I say, is just not. I mean, even the yellow card and all, just stupid. Like
Mhm.
just stuff. It just annoys me.
Yeah.
Uh, and as I say, it's just going to be one of them innit, until the window gets closed. Where you're hoping you just get another wee bit of quality in there, centre half wise.
Aye, we definitely need probably one more, and maybe like maybe a younger guy to come through and push through. Obviously, we have Emmanuel Fernandez that's signed already. We have John Souttar, we have Giga, but you're looking for well, definitely one or two more in there. Considering how poor the position's been for us in recent years, we need to have as much depth as we can in there. Onto the left hand side, Max Aarons. I thought he had a bit of a tricky night, adapting to a different position that Russell Martin's maybe wanting him to play this season. I think he done good things. I mean, like you look at the second goal for Deji Gisama, he's the one that breaks out in the corner of the pitch and gets us moving. I've definitely seen why we've signed him because he looks comfortable on the ball. He looks quick. He looks agile. But I think it's just adapting to that left hand side for Max Arns, which is going to be the big thing in the coming weeks. But aye, it's still really early to even make a judgment. But I kind of think he's going to be a really good player for us.
No, I think he also will be a good signing. That's just don't know if I'm keen on him out there on the left. I know it's obviously going to be difficult for him to play. He seen when he got a chance, I think, to be in the right, a bit more
Mhm.
effective game, whatever you would have hoped that maybe been Yefty playing there. And obviously, as I say, just I mean, we were talking about it obviously before the game kicked off, and that it's the most logical thing to do, really. When it was to have at centre half, Aaron's at right, and Yefty at left, it just
No.
makes sense. But again, what do we know? We're no managers, so we just sit here and commentate. Aye, but as I say, like, he looks decent enough, and hopefully, when as I say, for all of them, with more games and getting themselves properly fit, get ourselves a decent player on our hand for a season.
Aye, definitely. And then the midfield three, I think the standout was Joe Rothwell. I think he ran the game in the middle of the pitch. He looked. I didn't really know anything about him, to be honest with you. I knew we were getting a player that was obviously well accomplished in England with Blackburn and Bournemouth and Leeds, and obviously at Southampton as well. But it seemed like he just slotted in kind of exactly where he left off with Russell Martin at Southampton. Really, really quick on the ball, always wanting the ball. He just looked exactly what this midfield needs alongside two players like Raskin and Diomande.
Oh, I mean, perfect, mate. Second half, he ran the game. Absolutely ran the game, and I think that's what we're going to be seeing for him a lot this season. It's just him just dictating where it goes. You could see first half he was trying to get himself available and whatever, but obviously Shooter was like, nah, just take for 2 days on the ball, son. But no, listen, second half he ran it. Fantastic. And obviously his comments as well, we've seen as well. He wants to win things, he wants to do well here, so I like to see it, I like the attitude.
No, definitely really good performance. And then Diomande and Raskin were a bit quieter, but we know what we can expect of the two of them. And then the front three that started the game, maybe a bit of a weaker front three in terms of what we
Sorry, the
want to.
front two.
The one,
The front
front
two.
two, sorry. than we want to be playing for the majority of this season. But Kieran Dowell seems to be a guy that's really in Russell Martin's plans, and I don't quite understand it because he's not provided any moments in a Rangers shirt so far. He was playing out on the right hand side, which albeit isn't his position. He tried his hardest. I'm not going to sit here and say he didn't, but he just doesn't affect the game as a Rangers player at all. And he was subbed off. And then I think you look in the left hand side, Finlay Curtis had a tough first half as well. Nothing was really sticking for him, but he came out second half and he made the moments work for him and he created his own goal really. So I think that shows a bit of a contrast on both wings. Over the piece, and Danilo I think was maybe a bit quiet as well. I don't think he was getting too much service for the two in the wide areas, which is a
Unlucky.
big thing why we're targeting wide areas. But of course he had that chance as you say in the first half. It just went by the post, and he's been good in pre-season, so I've got all hope that
Rooting
Danilo
for
will
him.
finally put it together this season.
I'm rooting for him massively. You can tell he's putting the work in. You know what I mean? Like, just take pictures in pre-season, obviously blowing out his arse running. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's all been. You know what I mean? You see that, you can relate to that. Dowell on the other hand, as I say, I just don't understand him. Same as you. I just don't get why he's getting minutes at all. Really.
Mm-hmm.
He went for me. Well, as I said, we both thought he would be shipped out, but it seems he's going to be here. Feels like the Tom Lawrence kind of role where you just play him and he runs his deal down.
I think
And
Russell Martin did mention that after the game in Middlesbrough that we need squad players. We need players that
but it
obviously aren't
feels
going to
like, you know
start
what I
all
mean.
the time. So
Well, it feels like, oh, listen, we played at Norwich together, didn't we? So I'll just keep you for a, you know. But Finlay Curtis, I mean, that's what you want to see. Somebody come through the academy, take the opportunity, coming in the inside and just rattling it, man. That's what you
Aye.
like to see. Instead of trying to play tiki taka and just tap it in the
Mhm.
net, just can have a dig. You love it. Brilliant goal for the young man, and you hope he can really kick on this season. We've obviously had players for the academy in the last couple of seasons where you've thought, right, they're going to kick on, Lowry's and maybe other young Kings or whatever you, but you just have real high hope, hopefully, for Finlay Curtis that he can properly kick on.
Well, he started in the right way. I mean, he scored in the last three games that we've had at home, so he's
Ah,
definitely making the impression. So I think it's going to be about development for him all season. He's put himself in a position I don't think anybody saw him being in at the start of the season, which is starting games in Europe. So fair play to the boy, and as you say, he's one of your own. We want to see guys like that succeed. So, aye, really exciting to see him and his development this season. And obviously Deji Gisama as well, who came on and provided a really good cameo within two touches of the ball. He's got his first goal for Rangers, so um, he looks exactly the type of winger that we've been crying out for a long time. Where he's confident in the ball, he can shoot, he can score, and he can at least get us up off our seats when we're watching him.
I mean, that's it, you know what I mean? He just came on straight away and just rattled it
That's
in the
just
net.
how you announce yourself to Rangers fans.
Absolutely,
It's a
absolutely.
hard club to come and maybe you play a few games, you don't score right away. Like it's hard. So he's got off to a great start.
Great start, but the only thing I felt a wee bit angry for him was the celebration, obviously, and he like fucking
Nah, he could
clapped.
have done his knees in. Aye,
Aye, I thought oh, he scored a yelter and then he's done. You know what I mean?
aye.
But no, he's one that's going to be exciting to watch this season. Hopefully, we get a real player on our hands. Again, it seems like we got a steal there for two
Mhm.
odd million. Let's hope he can return it, hopefully down the line.
No, let's hope so. And then we'll briefly touch on the Middlesbrough game that was on Saturday afternoon. A bit of rotation in here. Obviously, Gassama starting this one. You've got Dessers, Cortez, Bayrami, Barron, and Gefty, guys that haven't really played a lot starting the game. I mean, the first half was hard to watch. It was hard to watch. There was a lot of players in there that haven't probably played together. It's probably a starting 11 that we won't see again. It was a bit of a tough afternoon for Xander Hutton at right back. Of course, he's only played very limited minutes in this Rangers team. So again, want to go back to the youth team and really build himself up this season. But there was at least some good patterns of play at times. Down the right hand side, Oscar Cortez mentioned by the manager as well, saying, "Look, if you want to play, just be like Oscar Cortez," and that's how you'll get in my team. He provided a lot of energy, and he was determined in that first half, even when we weren't trying, even when we weren't playing well. Sorry, and Josh Gentles as well, a guy that's coming through the youth academy and looks like he's got a pretty strong future ahead of him. And I've saw him this season so far, looks good. But second half, once we brung a few of the starting players on, Raskin and sorts, we looked a lot better. We got ourselves back into the game. Finlay Curtis of course scoring again, and Danilo providing a nice header. But it was probably the right time to have this game ahead of Wednesdays, because I
Just
don't think
felt
we
like
could have we don't I don't think we could have went a week without playing
uh,
really. So
just felt like obviously it's obviously a friendly. Give some Muller boys minutes to get themselves up fit and ready to go. Cortez was one on. The Tuesday I was hoping would come on maybe and get a wee chance because as I say yet again like Danilo, you're rooting for him to actually progress this season and do really well. And obviously the manager highlighted him. I seen the manager's comments as well, and Lyle Cameron was one. I heard
yeah,
people buzzing
he
about
done well when he
Lyle.
came on.
I mean, done well. I mean, Rey Mysterio's got some competition for height. That's what I'll say when I seen him there. Obviously, my boy Footy Adventures, but
Mhm.
I mean, he is totally. Uh,
Aye.
you can tell he's got that dog in him, but you can tell he's got that dog in him. He's
Aye,
not had
he's
really can fit.
different to any midfielders we have really. I think he's always looking to go forward. He provides a bit more than Barron, and I really liked his debut for Rangers. I thought he looked really good, and I
Just
think he's going to be an interesting player for us this season really.
just couldn't get over how totally he was,
Oh,
man.
aye,
When
he's tiny. Aye, he's absolutely tiny.
aye, but no, as I say, just a good opportunity, obviously, for some boys to get fitness, get themselves going, and hopefully kick on.
No, that's it. And then, as you say, Finlay Curtis getting his goal there, which leads us on nicely to the game on Wednesday, where I think it will be much more of the same. I think the only change I can really see at the moment is Deji Gassama coming in and starting the game. I think away from home you need a bit of pace in the break if we want to play in the counter attack like we had to do on Tuesday. At some point, the goal comes for a counter attack. We have to have speed and we have to have pace in there, and I think starting Gassama out on the right hand side and Keaton Curtis on the left, Danilo through the middle. He could go with Cyril Dessers. I mean, you've seen Dessers last season when we were playing away in Europe provide moments for us. So, aye, I would say maybe that's the only two up for debate, because the front side of the pitch was maybe a bit
I,
lacking last week, but we'll see.
I don't know. Again, I'm just get Sutter to, no, I mean, that's just me, but I know he'll play it. I know I have to look at it like the way the manager probably look at it. I think that's probably the team spot on, mate. I mean, Dessers, you're kind of hoping he would have been playing in Greece instead of playing for us, but what can you do here? No, I mean, that's probably as a team the manager will go away. I don't really just want to watch John Sutter play football for my team, really. As I say, I'd rather just slot Tav at centre half and Aaron's at right and
Aye, change it about.
make
Aye.
just makes all the sense in the world to me, but the rest of the team I think just picks itself right now. You can't drop Finlay Curtis, and then obviously the French boys come in. He's doing really well. Danilo's doing the work, obviously, which is I think it goes missing as well. Obviously, it's early doors and that, but just obviously the yards he's going to be covering stuff like that, and obviously getting
Mhm.
chance probably thingy. But I think that team picks itself really, doesn't it? It's just as I say, backline's what I would change personally.
Nah, I think once we get another starting centre half in there, the team looks a lot better, especially with the wingers that we're going to speak about in a minute as well. The team eventually will look a lot better to where we want it to be. But the manager always saying as well, Egaman had a knock after this game, should be back for Wednesday. Thelo Asgard, who's obviously missed out the last two games now, should be back and involved for Wednesday as well, which provides a totally different dimension to how we would want to play as a team, because he looks again like a box of tricks that we don't have in this team at the moment. So the two of them being or at least on the bench and involved in the squad would be huge for progression here, because Panathinaikos will come and they will try and score early. They'll try and start fast and they'll try and catch us out, and we need to stand up to that, and we need to at least score the first goal to kill this game off.
As I say, mate, I don't think they were anything special person. I thought the Man United boy looked a bit decent. He looked all right, but there was nobody else really for me that stood out for them that was like an actual proper threat. I think you would have a third goal when you're really going over here, but you just, as I say, I don't think they're a threat. I think we've got a real chance here to go through and potentially get ourselves to where we want to be.
Yep.
And if we do, I'll be doing the Tom Cruise one. I'll be doing the show me the money. No, I just to say, I just don't think they're a real threat at all, mate. The Man United boys, I say, was the only one that really stood out.
Nah, no, I think they're beatable. We've put ourselves in a good position to beat them as well. So as long as we don't absolutely destroy ourselves by ourselves and we just play the game like the game, stay in it,
I
and aye.
expect a lot of rolling about anyway. That's what I'll say. I expect a lot of pandering towards the referee.
Mhm.
I mean, some of the roly polies they were doing at Ibrox were. You know what I mean?
Nah,
What
it
we
wouldn't
do.
surprise me. Boy, get booked for diving as well. Actually, forgot about that. But no, we'll see. It's going to be an interesting game to see how Russell Martin attacks it. Do we go and play the same game? Do we try and maybe be a bit more reserved and sit back and play in the counter attack? It's going to be all open to see, and I believe his press conference will probably be tomorrow at some point, maybe even later on the night. So we'll hear more about that from him then. But on to a couple of players that might join the club soon. It was reported like late yesterday afternoon, sorry, that Oliver Antman, the right winger from Go Ahead Eagles, is possibly going to be joining the club on a £5 million deal. The Daily Record that they were reporting this one said that there's a breakthrough. He might be a Rangers player within the next couple of days. I feel like that's wide of the mark, to be quite honest with you. I feel like that's just too quick for the rumour to come out and us to sign him. I think maybe this week I will see developments on this one. I think the fact that there's a game on the Wednesday might push this one maybe to the end of the week. But it looks that they were wanting to pay significant money for a right winger. We've seen the Raksaki deal last week for David Ornstein that get reported. We were looking to loan him, possibly buy him with an obligation. Again, it looks kind of we're interested in him. He got an injury at the weekend though, so maybe a deal's stopped in its tracks for that one until later on in the window. But Oliver Antman definitely looks the part. When you look at his stats for last season, he topped the assist charts in the Eredivisie. Again, for a team that's not necessarily going to be one of the top hitters in the division, scoring 7 goals last season. But also coming from Nordsjælland, which is where Diomande came from, and they both played together as well. So
Um,
for me, that's a big thing. They produce so many
Massive.
good talents, and he's obviously took that talent on last season and provided good moments for his club. But Oliver Antman could very possibly be the right wing solution that we're looking for.
The Ant-Man, eh?
Antman and Asgard at Rangers, aye.
We need the Hulk next, don't we? Like I
hmm
say, but no, listen, as you say, to do that, to have that many goals and assists for a team that aren't expected probably to do anything, I think that's massive. And then obviously coming from the Norwegian side as well, which seem to just produce the best players. It feels like everyone's just riding their club, doesn't it, really?
hmm
It's definitely one to probably keep an eye on. 5 million, obviously you have to pay in the day's market, innit?
hmm
And it's an exciting one anyway to get the Ant-Man in. Can he shrink himself and
aye. I need to shrink himself to Lyle Cameron size to do
aye,
anything.
aye.
No, but I do think this has definitely got legs in it. There's journalists that are now hot on this story from the Netherlands and Go Ahead Eagles reporters. He was in training the day though, so nothing appears to be quite imminent as Daily Record was suggesting. But definitely, for me, want to keep an eye on to see if he does make the switch over to Glasgow. But one that does apparently look to be heading in the right direction, maybe earlier than Ant-Man, is Mikey Moore from Spurs. It looks like we are close to securing his services for a season on loan. He broke into the limelight last season. I remember hearing from him. Of course, we were in the
Europa.
same phase as Spurs last season, who went on to win the competition. We played them, of course, at Ibrox. And he was a player that their fans really do rave about. He thinks he's kind of going to be one of the best up and coming young English talents that they've got to offer. And I think the sole reason that they're looking to get him out on loan this season is just to give him game time to see how he reacts to playing. And I think he's got no better option than coming to Rangers, where he's going to play in a Russell Martin team for one, which will benefit his kind of style of play. Um, and to see how he reacts to a big club that have to win. Because Spurs, of course, are a big club, and he'll go back there and he'll want to make an impression on them. Because who knows what happens with Youngman's son and that he's possibly maybe going to move on this summer. So there's definite a place for Mikey Moore to fit in the coming years over there. So I think securing him on a years long loan, Matt Law for the Telegraph reporting that we're favourites to get him in. Championship teams are looking at him. I believe Dortmund had a bid rejected in the early stages of the transfer window for a permanent deal. It looks like it's heading in the right direction to get Mikey Moore in on a season long loan. And what Russell Martin was saying after the Middlesbrough game, he kind of packs out that squad to be able to get a bit more options.
A bit more options and a decent young option for some of the stuff we obviously seen last season. He won Europa. Looks a decent wee player. What's he, 17, 18?
Aye,
Which is
17. Aye, born in 2007. Aye.
Aye, the depression kicks in there, doesn't it? No, he looks like a decent wee young player anyway. Looks like he comes up here, there's going to be competition, which is obviously massive now. We need the players to be fighting for the positions. I don't think, obviously, you think about obviously Ahmad as well, that loan thing, me. Obviously, we knew Gio wasn't really keen on him or what have you, but you just don't want one of them where he comes up and maybe just sits on the bench. I can't see it personally, but it just looks like one of these smart bits of business really for me. If you kind of get maybe some other players in on a permanent, maybe that other, you know what I mean, you just file a young lad in there and see how he does at a big club.
Aye, I think it makes sense for all parties really, and I think it's a real coup for Rangers to get him in because a lot of clubs were after him. So aye, for me, I think he's a really positive looking player, and someday Russell Martin will work with pretty well. And then on to a couple of outgoings. It looks like Radvan Yilmaz is going to leave the club at some point. I mean, Besiktas have been linked with this guy since we signed him.
Ah,
Immediately after he signed the fucking contract with Rangers, it was like, oh,
it's
Besiktas looking to get this guy back. And
one
it's
of the
been every
career mode
window.
ones, isn't it?
Aye,
One of the career mode ones, you sell the guy and then you realise you need him back. That's what this is.
aye. And it looks like he's obviously been left out of the Champions League squad. He's not been involved in any of the friendlies, so it looks like Yilmaz will probably leave this summer. Whether that be on a loan or a permanent deal is
Has to be a
remains to be
permanent.
seen.
Has to be
Aye,
a
I would
permanent.
think so, but I think he might be in the same kind of situation as Matondo, where it's just going to be so much money that clubs don't want to pay for him and
You,
that.
you, you just can't keep doing this, but I know it won't happen again. I have faith in obviously new ownership and that, but like, the players that we've got now that are, you don't blame them. Listen, you don't blame them. If you were on that kind of money, you as well would be sitting. But I'm no budging. But they have to go. You just have to
Hmm.
do what you need to do to get them out.
Nah, and I think Ridvan will. He's probably been told by Russell Martin, look, I'm going to look elsewhere for a left back, try and find a club. And I don't think the way Russell Martin spoke about Robin Proper, who we're going to next, there isn't sort of any ill will with the way he's doing it. He's keeping them involved where he can. I think he comes across as a really good man manager. To be honest, Russell Martin. I don't think any of these players will be discredited because of they've been Rangers players. We'll wish them well and stuff, and I'm pretty sure Russell Martin will do the same when we can get them off the books. But as we said at the top of the episode, it's just all about getting these players actually off the books. And finally, we were able to get one out. Robin Proper's deal to FC20 was confirmed. Of course, this has been going on for weeks and weeks. There's been disputes over contracts and money and finances here and there, but I eventually made that one permanent on Saturday morning. Rangers confirmed this deal, and aye, look, it's one of those where he came in, he didn't fit the bill as a Rangers player. We move him on. It's as simple as that. No ill will towards the guy at all, and we get a bit of money back to go and reinvest in our centre half.
Simple as that, mate. Simple as that. Obviously, thanks for the goal and the old firm, but that's about it, really, innit? You know what I mean?
Aye,
Just one of them where, as you say, the Rangers probably just had to pay him whatever and then just move him on just to get him going.
aye.
And he just never fit, never made sense, never understood the signing at all.
No, it didn't seem like the first option because I mean, like this last summer, sorry, we were in for Jose Cordoba, who was a big unit for the Bulgarian league. Ended up going to Norwich, and then we go for Robin Proper, who's just completely different to end that we were targeting. It just seemed like an agent deal. Niels Coppin could get done for some sort of fee. And I mean, this guy came in as a Connor Goldson replacement. Let's not forget that. And aye, alarming how many games he went off injured in. How many games did he get subbed off early? Just did not take to the situation at Rangers whatsoever. And aye, in Holland it'll maybe be a bit more laid back for him where he can enjoy his football over there. So aye,
What we
best wishes to Robin Proper.
what we saying? Team of the season with him and Sam Lammers, aye.
Aye, he'll probably get team of the season. He'll probably score about 40 goals. He'll probably get into the Dutch team. Aye, like standard in it. But aye, finishing the episode. Sorry, we've got Mason Munn heading out on loan to Dunfermline, following the Al McGregor career path, coming through Rangers youth, heading to Dunfermline on loan under Neil Lennon. So aye, good move for the boy. Hopefully he gets game time. I think he's always been seen as somebody that will contribute to Rangers first team in the long term. He's still very young, so might be a few more loans before then. But aye, all the best to Mason Munn out in Dunfermline.
Absolutely, all the best to him. A keeper with a bit of potential there, as you say. Hopefully, in the next couple of years, will be involved in the first team squad. just need a couple more of these young lads probably to go out on loan. I'm maybe looking at a Rice to go out on loan. Without getting hit in the head with a ball would be nice, by the way. But, even a Welsh boy as well, looking just to get a couple of these lads probably out on loan. I know maybe Russell Martin will want to work with one or two of them in the first squad, but you just look at how stacked it is right now, and players don't look like they're budging. So getting some of the young lads out on loan is massive just for
Aye.
them, their development. Instead of just sitting about and playing in games where they probably feel comfortable in, go out and get a real challenge and actually play, you know what I mean, play football.
No, that's it, and that's where the positive have to come from now that we're getting players out that hopefully more players follow. I mean, you're looking in the lines of Ben Davies and Rabbi Matondo and Jose Cifuentes, Ross McCausland. I mean, there's a long list of players that
Where is
can
Ben
definitely
Davies
move on.
leading?
I
I
mean,
feel like we
these guys are just never seen. Like,
need to
I don't
put
know.
some missing posters up. We need to be going around Glasgow putting up missing. Have you seen this person?
You
Five,
know. Not
whatever.
going to Tom Brady and say, look, you want to just take him back, like get him off
Aye.
our hands again. But that's going to be one of the positives, getting at least 7 or 8 players out the door. Again, those players aren't going to be used, so they have to be confirmed. Ones are still up in the air about Kieran Dowell possibly leaving as well. There's again chat about Igaman, Dessers, other
Even
players around the
asking.
squad, Raskin,
Yeah.
Diomande, of course. Like, there's players that have got interest in them. Russell Martin confirmed that as well, but we'll wait and see what happens in terms of any permanent or loan deals, and we'll be sure to kind of cover them on here or on Twitter. But I think that's us kind of up to date at the moment. Hopefully, we just go over on Wednesday, finish a job, and see what awaits us in the next round of the Champions League.
That's it, mate. Just hopefully get through, get this game out of the way. And then obviously we'll be back to business, won't we?
Aye,
Back
and
to
that's
the
it.
league.
Back to business
Yeah.
on the Saturday. I know we've had that much to talk about. We've barely even had the chance to talk on the league. Guy Motherwell on Saturday, of course, is going to be right after that game on Wednesday. The attention focuses to that.
It's a massive game. Obviously setting the tempo as well for the league season. Motherwell have changed up a wee bit and they seem to be going for sort of European kind of coaches now as well. So
Mhm.
should be an interesting first game of the season.
No, definitely. And then we'll be commenting on that next week once it does happen. Hopefully positive results this week, and we'll see if we get any more ins and outs, and we'll see you then.